With details on the altercation between CM Punk and Jack Perry, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. During AEW's All-In event at Wembley Stadium in London, the crowd would chant, "Wheeler's got a gun," in reference to Cash Wheeler of FTR recently being arrested on a charge of aggravated assault involving a firearm, where he allegedly brandished a gun in an apparent road rage incident. Giving booking details on the Stadium Stampede bout that took place at All In, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful revealed that the Stadium Stampede match was booked knowing that Fenix couldn't make the trip over. There was never a consideration given to a replacement, and it was booked as a 5-on-5 match. Staying on the topic of that previously mentioned match, this was said regarding the status of Santana and Ortiz, who had previously been said to have been on bad terms with one another. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful said, speaking of Stadium Stampede, Santana returned to compete in the match alongside the Blackpool Combat Club. Despite reuniting with Ortiz, the two are still not on good terms, nor is Santana on good terms with Eddie Kingston. It seems an AEW star may be on the receiving end of heat backstage, as Fightful mentioned that AR Fox being pulled from Mogul, Embassy, and All In was not always the plan. Whatever the reason may be, there is some reported heat on Fox for not being able to work the show. Following the All-In event, AEW President Tony Khan would make an appearance to hype up the crowd with a huge announcement for 2024. Here's the clip.
All in 1 year, bank holiday weekend, August 25th of 2024. All in right here. Let's go!
When it comes to future events for AEW, Ringside News wrote that Tony Khan arranged a great partnership with AEW and NJPW. Now they have another event on the schedule that could see a big crossover. On October 1st in Seattle, AEW will hold an event called Wrestle Dream. This event will mark the 1-year anniversary of Antonio Inoki's passing. Tony Khan noted that Inoki was wrestling's greatest dreamer. That event should be a big one in Seattle, and he seemed very excited about that. Tony Khan said that there are a lot of possibilities for NJPW crossovers for that show, and he expects them to participate. Tony Khan did not explicitly say that this will be a pay-per-view event, but October 1st is a Sunday, so it's very likely that fans will have another event on the schedule. AEW has already teased the adding of more pay-per-views. That being said, it appears that Wrestle Dream will be a new event on AEW's schedule. As of this writing, no matches have been announced for Wrestle Dream, but Tony Khan is very excited about the event. For an update on a potential AEW event in Mexico City, Ringside News noted that during the media scrum after AEW All In London, MJF was asked if he would like to see AEW run a big show in Mexico. He stopped the reporter right there and said he would love to have a show in Aztec Stadium in Mexico City. Then he said he hopes he was able to pressure Tony Khan into saying he'll do it. Tony Khan then stated that Aztec Stadium does sound like a great venue for pro wrestling. AEW also has partners that could help them out in Mexico. I think he nailed it. I think that's a great venue. There are so many great venues. I think that's a great idea, playing Aztec Stadium. It's probably something to consider. We're making so much progress as a company. Tony Khan said that playing Aztec Stadium in Mexico City would be a great thing for AEW to do, as they keep crossing new landmarks as a company. He also made a point to mention how the company has some big partners in Lucha Libre wrestling as well. After her loss of the AEW Women's title to Saraya in the Fatal 4-Way match at All In, the former champion Hikaru Shida would break her silence on social media, writing, "I lost, but tonight was definitely special. I wasn't here without fans. You all brought me here. Thank you so much from my heart." At the All In event, the international champion Orange Cassidy would not be scheduled to defend his title. As Ringside News wrote, Orange Cassidy did not defend his international championship at all in London, but he was still on the show. During the press conference, Orange Cassidy revealed that he actually called Tony Khan out for not letting him defend his title at Wembley Stadium. "I mentioned to Tony Khan that it felt very weird that we were doing an international show and I wasn't defending my international championship. So I told Tony, give me someone Wednesday. I don't know who's next. He does." It was then revealed that Penta will take on Orange Cassidy this Wednesday night at the Now Arena for Dynamite next week. That match will be for the international title. As Mercedes Mone was shown to be in attendance for the All In event today in London, AEW President Tony Khan would address this during the post-show media scrum, saying, "I thought it would be excellent to have one of the best international stars right now, Mercedes Mone, at All In, and her last match was in NJPW against our very own Willow Nightingale. She's also got to see the AEW Women's Championship match. She's not cleared because of her injuries, but I thought it would be good to take in the show. Definitely a lot of potential things can happen there. NJPW has had great experiences working with her. She's not cleared, but I figured if she took in the greatest pro wrestling crowd of all time and taking the atmosphere." With it previously reported that another altercation took place between Jack Perry and CM Punk prior to Punk making his entrance at All In, this time it would apparently turn physical. More information would be provided, as Sean Ross Sapp said. Details are few and far between at the moment, but we have learned that Jack Perry and CM Punk had an altercation shortly before CM Punk went to the ring for his AEW All In match. Jack Perry was on right before him and did a spot on a car window and said, "It's real glass, cry me a river." This was a shot at Punk, who had a confrontation at an AEW Collision taping this summer over Perry's insistence on using real glass for a spot on the show. We're told Perry wasn't happy with how the situation was relayed publicly by those close to Punk. We haven't heard of the extent of which the altercation got, but that it got physical and involved a lot of yelling. PW Insider added, at some point after Perry's match with Hook, we are told Punk and he had an altercation, with several sources claiming Punk went after, or depending on the story, hit Perry. Wrestle Purist would write that, according to one side of the story, it's claimed that Jack Perry approached CM Punk backstage and stepped in his face and bumped Punk. Punk was said to have then pushed Perry. Perry allegedly came at Punk and got choked. AEW star Miro chimed in, replying, "That's fake and untrue." It would be further noted that Jack Perry had been sent home, with PW Insider reporting the prevailing story making the rounds is that Perry confronted Punk, leading to the two shoving each other. As we previously stated from there, the first story was Punk struck Perry. However, the version that is becoming most shared is that Perry was caught in a choke. Punk is still backstage at Wembley Stadium. We are told that Perry was ordered to leave and is no longer at the stadium. It would be added that, as you might imagine, depending on who is telling the story, it either begins with Punk going after Perry or Perry confronting Punk. It's been back and forth as to who the blame was being placed on depending who was telling the tale, and some of whom sharing it were not actually there when it went down. There was shoving back and forth, and then from there, the story that is told is that Punk either punched and or choked out Perry after the shoving. Tony Khan would also address this incident at the post-show press conference, simply saying that there was an incident backstage before we went live. We are investigating it. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.